is Marie Scott, and I'm a ranger here at Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore, and I'd like to welcome you to Glen Haven, the National Landmark Historic Village of Glen Haven. I'd like to start the story of Glen Haven near the beginning, and the beginning for this town is at the water's edge. So if you look out the window, you may be able to see some passing ships, sailboats, and also places that were heavily guarded, the Manitou Islands, that guarded the passage, I should say. If you look at South Manitou Island, that's really where the story for this place began as far as its development. And that would be Charles McCarty was a lumberjack on South Manitou Island. And he knew eventually they'd run out of cordwood for fuel for the steamships on South, and he was looking to start his own business. And when he looked on the shore, as you can see by the huge trees that are left standing here, he came for the lumber. Came from South Manitou, built a small dock here, and started cutting trees for fuel, for the cordwood for these passing steamers. Eventually he built the inn, and we'll be going to the inn shortly. All right, another reason I like to start here is because of the chart. South Manitou Island that I just mentioned had one of the first lighthouses that was built on Lake Michigan to guide ships into the only natural deep water harbor on this side of Lake Michigan between Chicago and Mackinac. So ships naturally would come into the passage because they coastal sailed. They didn't have sonar, they didn't have radar, they didn't have communications with the mainland, so they had to sail within sight of shore. This was a safe harbor. Fuel here. McCarty thought, well, they're going to need more fuel somewhere else, and so that's when he came and developed Sleeping Bearville, Glen Haven. Manitou Passage, think of it as an off-ramp on the major highway, being Lake Michigan of over 100 years ago. And this little place became another fueling stop. Why do you take the off-ramp? Because you need what? Food, fuel, a place to rest. And McCarty felt he could provide all of those things here in Glen Haven. One of the first places he developed was the inn for passing ships. And when I'm saying passing ships, I'm talking about 100 to 200 ships daily coming into the Manitou Passage. This was a highway. This was the I-75 of 150 years ago. Not only steamships, but schooners. Imagine all the sails coming through here. If we followed the road where it exists today and kept going into the water, that's where the dock was. It continued out into the water because this is where ships would come. They would come to this dock, they'd come to a dock in Glen Arbor. There was another dock in Port Oneida. All right, 90 ships tying into one of these docks, you know, throughout the day, every day through the summer. Shipping season was about, from April Fool's Day until close to Christmas. It's an easy way to remember it, until the ice froze, the lakes froze. I'd like to go outside now and we can wander towards the inn.